You're listening to Entrepreneur's Enigma, a podcast about the ups and downs of the entrepreneurial journey. Every week, your host Seth Goldstein interviews entrepreneurs from all walks of life about their entrepreneurial journeys. From store owners to Fortune 500 CEOs, we all have stories to tell. So sit back and join us for the next 20 or so minutes while we explore the entrepreneurial world.
Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Entrepreneur's Enigma podcast. Today I'm here with Michele Novack. She is the chief bottle washer and person of gratitude, abundance, and success. And I'll get into her bio and that'll make more sense when I get to that. Over at CardinalsByte, which is a risk management company and a MSP, right? Am I correct?
I'm not an MSP, actually. I'm direct risk management for cybersecurity. Yeah, I don't offer MSP services.
Probably smart that way. You kind of assess things and make sure things, and then if you need to get an MSP in, you find an MSP.
Exactly.
I like that. That's smart. So Michele's story is always centered on helping others through inspiration, sharing free knowledge, and encouraging others to live their best lives. So she's had a career spanning 30 years in leadership, with roles in the financial sector, God bless you, and cybersecurity. And like I said, she's the founder of CardinalsByte, and she's written a book. Like, wow, shifting your mindset to 21 days of abundance and overcoming fears of entrepreneurship and solo-preneurship. That is awesome, because I have a book in me eventually. I just haven't gotten to it, so. Michele, how are you?
I am fantastic today. I really appreciate you inviting me to the show, and I'm looking forward to kind of sharing my journey, right?
Exactly. If you couldn't tell, she's from New York.
Hello, I am.
She's got the New York accent. New York.
We say coffee.
Coffee. Exactly. So how did this all get started? I mean, clearly you've worked in the corporate world for a while. And then when did you venture out on your own?
Yeah, so I had a full career in finance for a long time with many big commercial banking.
God bless you.
And a couple of years ago, I want to say it was probably my journey with one of my Capital One, really, where I saw the writing on the wall where all banks obviously were moving towards technology, right? So it I had to ask myself, Seth, what's the next thing for me? Right? Will my job be eliminated? And I think everybody has those questions, right? Where do I stand in all this transition? So I decided to go back to school, and I originally had an interest in doing like web stack development and building websites. And I was like, all right, well, that technology piece. So I started off with that, but then I fell in love with cyber. And through my course of kind of just figuring out where the next stage was, I was, mid almost 50 at that point. I started my career over, right?
Yeah.
I took a halt. I looked back. I went back to school, became a cyber engineer, because cybersecurity was what I knew I liked after taking, many courses through learning. And then I started to teach cybersecurity at Capital One, because they have a tech university there, to their developers and, programmers and stuff. And then I kind of just ventured out. Right. Started to continue to work as I built a business for another company, for another bank. But, ultimately I had to overcome my own fear. Right. And that's why I wrote that book. I had to overcome my own lack of self-confidence and fear of, who I am and what I can do and what can I bring to the table.
Yeah. And so how long have you been out on your own for?
Couple of years now. I want to say it's going on 5 years.
You've made it 4 or 5 years. I mean, that means you're going to stick to it.
I'm going to drive it, and I'm going to build that community that I promised myself, teaching others and building resources for them, because I think it's what I'm kind of really proud of. Seth, I want to help people break through those barriers and embrace their full potential, and understand it.
I love it. So every day, there's always something in the news about this guy got hacked, this gal got hacked, this person got hacked because they clicked on an email. Like, how does the whole risk management realm of things. I mean, most people, MSPs, managed service providers, they're in there fixing, literally, hammer and chisel, making sure that this stuff doesn't happen. How does cybersecurity risk management differ? Is it
So,
more education?
cybersecurity risk management is all part of the same kind of umbrella, if you would, Seth,
Yeah.
right? We all just do different pieces, and it depends, larger companies, smaller companies. But really, kind of what I do that's a little bit different is I am writing the compliance end of it, the written policies and procedures. I'm writing your WISP. I'm
Like,
getting you
don't do
certified.
this, do this. Please don't click on that email.
Right. I do the training, the development, and cyber's
Ooh.
out there. I was just at a conference a couple of weeks ago, and we learned that
Yeah.
one of the biggest things I think that the FBI and the CISOs out there of the world today are focused on the new RAS. It's called RAS, Ransom as a Service now.
Oh,
Believe
yeah.
that.
It's definitely a service now. Yeah.
And I just did a newsletter and I posted it on LinkedIn to get awareness out there. But these hackers are buying
They're
people's
buying
information through the
actual like
service
lists. And
and then hacking them.
they're very entrepreneurial to say the least.
you know, and this is what's going on out there. But, there's a lot of myths about cybersecurity, especially for small business. They're like, oh my God, it costs too much. I don't know what to do. It's overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
It's really not. You just got to ask questions and we can explain it. I really
Mm-hmm.
try to break it down for the layman,
Yeah.
right?
And they
Layman
still
people,
click on
because
those
that's what we
links.
are
And they
ultimately.
still click on the links. Yeah.
Right.
And that's when you call in the Batmobile and say, "Don't click on that link." Oh my God! I mean, they're getting tricky. I mean, a lot of them are they're quite tricky. Like they're like, here's a contract, the DocuSign thing I got the other day. And I'm like, I don't know who you are, so if you really want me to sign it, you can contact me. And like, I didn't write them. I was just like, let them try again and again and again. And that's like, I was like, that didn't look right.
Yeah.
But they almost got me that time. I was like, but I didn't recognize the name, so I was like, all right, they're not going to randomly send me a document to sign. That made no sense.
The phishing emails are the number one. It's 60% of all attacks come through the phishing emails, but also through your phone, right? They send those wonderful little pictures or the WhatsApp. We've seen WhatsApp just got hacked not too long ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sending all of those bogus, please click here, do this. I just had a meeting with one of my customers and 30 of his websites went down. He was hacked.
Oh,
They
that's
infiltrated, but it
painful.
wasn't through him. It was through his service provider, the domain
Uh-huh.
that now they got to fix it, right? But he's going to
Yeah.
have to get new servers. We were trying to clean it up, but
It's too messy to the point where it's just like, I just trash
exactly,
them. It
especially when
costs
you're
more
talking
to
about
fix
30
them when it's just
websites.
like this.
So,
Yeah.
you know, but again,
Oh,
it
it's
was an
painful.
email, right? I think they got hacked through an email, to your point. It's just looking at the wording, right? Like if you're not expecting something, don't click on it. I tell everybody, don't click on anything. I don't click on anything. I'm click, click, click. If I'm not expecting something, don't even bother me.
Exactly. It's like that. And it was a very weird one. Usually the PayPal ones are they're scary. They're like, you owe this person four
Oh
thousand
yeah,
dollars, and I'm like, no, I don't.
go
And not their
away.
pay, and I don't use PayPal, so it's not their PayPal. So
Exactly. And verify your account. I love the ones where, you got to verify your credentials. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Let me log in right now. No problem.
yeah, I'll go log in. I'm not gonna click your email to log in. Come on now. People fall for it all the time. We're gonna take a quick break, hear from our sponsors, and get right back to the show.
I know. It's
It's
unfortunate.
scary.
Yeah, it
So
is
when did you write
unfortunate.
this book?
What?
When did you write your book? When did that book come out?
Which one?
The about the entrepreneurship and shifting your mindset to
I
success.
just posted that. That came out in the beginning of this year. Just put that
Ooh,
out
it's a
there in the
new
beginning of
one.
this year. Yeah, it's one of my newer ones, and I'm working on another one right now.
You're
Um,
prolific.
I think it's about embracing being a game changer, right?
Yeah,
And there's,
absolutely.
it's a very short book, but it gives you like my own personal journey,
Yeah.
understanding the highlights, right? Navigating the highs and lows of that entrepreneurship, creating that collaboration, you
Mm-hmm.
know, um, get into the community networking. And we've got away from picking up the phone, calling people, you know, speaking to people like yourself that will more than love to have us like talk about what we do and how we can,
Yeah.
do things differently, and overcoming like my personal fears. right? Never
Mm-hmm.
giving up. I failed.
Yeah.
I failed several, listen, Seth, you've been in business, you've sold a
Yeah.
successful business, but I failed. What do you do when you fail? What do you have
You
to
get
do when
up
you
and
have
you
to go
dust yourself
reiterate?
off and you keep going. Yeah.
Right. You have to, I think people think that, oh, I'm going to launch this, product, or I'm going to launch this business. They get so excited, but they don't realize that you have to test it first. They don't
Mm-hmm.
realize that, you have to go out there and talk to other people, get feedback. And, some things are straight cut. If you're going to cut hair, it's a little different. You mess it up, you lost a couple of clients, you figure
Yeah.
it out, right?
Yeah.
But certain businesses, you need that beta testing, if you would, I call it.
Mm-hmm.
And, you have to be able to explore the raw um, battleground of your mind.
Oh, that's
I
yeah.
think
It's
as
definitely a
a,
battleground. Yeah.
yeah, I think as an entrepreneur, if you don't have the right mindset and you can't explore your battleground and all the
Yeah.
junk that holds you back, um, and put it aside and move forward.
That's the hardest thing to do is put it aside and keep going.
Yeah.
And like even especially when you fail, I would say there's a difference between failing and failure.
Yes.
Failure is when you give up. Failing is another day in paradise.
And you're right. And I would agree with you on that, right? Like, I think the profound, what kept me going was understanding that I know what I know. I
Yeah.
somebody said to me a long time ago, Michelle, 20% more than somebody else.
Yeah.
So you know what you know, and you can share that, and you can build upon that and continue that, and always never lose that. And I keep that in the back of my mind all the
Yeah.
time. You
Love
know,
it. That's the best. So you've done the corporate, you've reinvented yourself, all that stuff. What's the best thing about being an entrepreneur?
I think inspiring others, getting
Mm-hmm.
on shows like this, sharing what I've done, sharing my downfalls or my pitfalls. Every show is different, that,
Yeah.
Seth. But I think if I can inspire one person and bring it forward, and I have an open community, reach out to me. People, contact me. I'll talk to anybody. I don't
Yeah.
care.
You are a
I
New
also
Yorker
mentor
after all.
young girls in cyber,
Oh, I
right?
love that.
I make it a point to give back. And I love doing that because I think there's a need for it. I just had a
Yes.
young lady reach out to me. I've been mentoring her for about 7 months. She's at MIT. She just got her
Ooh.
first job, but she didn't know how to interview. She was so scared. I was like, you
Yeah.
go and apply 100 jobs a day.
Yeah.
We
You
wrote
go
her a
get
great
them. Yeah.
resume. We did some interview skills, and she just pinged me on LinkedIn like 2 weeks ago. She's like, I got my first job. I'm like, go for it. Yay.
That's awesome. Put the
So
pay it forward.
that's
Yeah.
what I live for. I think at this point, obviously we all want to just continue to build our
Yeah.
business, have clients, and that's what makes the world go around. We all have bills to pay.
Oh yeah.
I'm a very real and authentic person.
Yeah.
But I think if all of that went away, I would still do whatever I got to do to help somebody. So
Love it. So then on the flip side, what keeps you up at night as an entrepreneur?
the ever changing, I think, frameworks of cybersecurity and keeping up with the constant rules, regulations, like, the IRS just mandated WISP. I've been telling my clients, because I
Mm-hmm.
predominantly focus on the financial sector for years, you got to get a WISP, you got to do this, you got to do that. Now they mandated it. So, now it's like, hey, I got somebody. Hey, can you help me? Yeah. But,
Yeah, you gotta be aware of it. I've been telling you about this forever, guys. That kind of
yeah,
thing. Yeah.
so I think that's where we lack the education, like, and that's why I like just started to put newsletters out on LinkedIn with the education, right? And
Yeah.
I have, an education platform. People could to go take free, training, whatever they want and learn,
Yeah.
and, the ebooks. I think we all do it in this world today, right? Like that's
Mm-hmm.
new. Podcast is the new TV, right?
Yeah.
But I think that's most important, right? Educating people,
Absolutely.
and that's what keeps me up. Like, I don't want a client to call me and tell me they were hacked,
Oh.
and I could have helped them through that. I mean, I had a client not too long ago. Yeah, over 60 grand he lost. So, and he's fighting with the
That's
banks,
a lot of
but
money.
he
Yeah.
didn't, when I make recommendations on that risk assessment and that gap, and I tell you to implement this or implement that, it's up to you as a business owner to
To
decide
actually
how to
do it.
prioritize
Yeah.
that and build a budget to do that. Um, and
Wow.
unfortunately, he had a BEC attack. So, and it was through a phishing, right? They got into
Oh.
his email, sent an email from his email to a client to pay an invoice, and the client paid. but not to his
Oh,
account. So deal
that's
with this
painful.
sometimes, and that's what keeps me up. Like,
Oh God, yeah.
yeah, but other than that, Seth, I sleep. Like I
You sleep.
can't.
That's a
You got
good
to
thing. You
just
need
set it
sleep
and
is
go.
important. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to set it and go and say, what's my next story? I wake up every morning. I have three priorities. I tell everybody, I live with the number three, right? And we all have long lists. We all
Oh God, yeah.
have things that we've got to accomplish. Mine's like
Yeah.
maybe 50 pages long.
Yeah.
But I pick three of those top priorities every day and I say, these have to get done. I don't care before I go to sleep. And as long as I accomplish
Amen.
that, I feel successful.
That's awesome. So
And you figure it out.
what is the most important thing to carry with you all the time?
A smile. I
Oh,
mean,
I
I
love
know
it.
that sounds
No, it's
corny,
simple. No, but simple
but
is
you know what?
huge.
A positive attitude. You just need to say, it's going to be okay, right? Like,
Yes.
this is life. Let's move through
This
it.
is life.
What do I
And
have to
keep
do to
going.
fix it? Find the solution. But I tell you, a smile. Smile cures everything. I even walk into, rooms with some clients and you could see the tense, I don't know what's
Ugh.
going on in their environment. And I just start smiling. I'm like, all right, everybody, we're
Uh-huh.
going to do an exercise before I begin today. We're going to smile because
And
it
everyone's
just
like,
makes you happy,
what?
even if
Yeah,
you put your
it
cheeks out.
does. It does. Absolutely. So where's your biggest watering hole online? Where do you hang out the most?
I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Where do you hang out the most online? Like where can people connect with you? Would it be
Between,
LinkedIn?
but I would say between LinkedIn and the regulatory websites.
I love it. You're always there. So yeah,
you know, those are probably my two big places. But LinkedIn, I'd probably say, I just became part of this whole other network thing, which I thought was great. It was like an extension that you add on to LinkedIn.
yeah.
That kind of is like a match. It's beautiful. My Trusted
Mm.
Network, I think it's called.
Yeah, I've heard of them. Yeah, they're good.
Love it. I think I got to add you.
Oh
But
yeah.
it really like you validate people because you can introduce people that you trust and know, and not get
Love it.
like those funny. I get like
Weirdos.
those emails all the time, like the IMs, that they're selling and people want to
And
connect.
you're like, no, that's not how it goes.
I,
Exactly.
I I can't connect with everybody, even though I want to. Right?
Yeah,
I
only
have to
only
pick and
24 hours in
choose.
the
Right?
only 8 hours in the workday if you're lucky.
Yeah.
Only 24 hours in the day, literally,
Right.
and you gotta go with it.
Yeah. But I would say those are my biggest hangouts. Facebook, I'm not on there, but more for
Yeah.
social, and I don't really play it. I don't have time. Seth,
You
who
have
has
time.
time?
There's time for this stuff. Exactly. But LinkedIn's your professional network, so connect with Michelle over there,
Yeah.
and
I'm
it's
also on
been so much
Alignable
fun.
and
Oh,
Phil
Alignable.
Harrington.
Yeah, we can't forget about Alignable. Yes.
I love Alignable, and I'm also on Phil Harrington's The Connector. I
Ooh, I'll
love
have to check
his.
that out.
Oh, Phil Harrington, you got to. He really works with larger businesses and stuff, but
Oh,
it's a one-on-one connection. He actually introduces you to people, like
oh, he
himself,
works
his
for it.
business. But
Yeah.
Phil Harrington, The Connector. Those are
Cool.
the
I'll have to
three
check that
that
out.
I kind of constantly
Hover
working through
around.
because of just the type of business I do. So
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Michelle, this has been so great. I'm so glad we got you on finally. I know we've been like playing cat and mouse here, trying to like, get you on, but thank you
yeah,
for being on.
I'm glad that you invited me. And
Yeah, I'm glad we
Seth, you're
connected.
you're great to talk to because you're just like me. We're down to earth and we're, to the point. We just want to see what's best for everybody. So,
Love it. Love it. And we'll see everyone next week.
That was a great show. If you're enjoying Entrepreneur's Enigma, please consider giving us a review in the podcast directory of your choice. Every review helps us reach new listeners. If you like Entrepreneur's Enigma, consider the other shows on the Marketing Podcast Network at marketingpodcast.net.